Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another E46 video where if you watched the last video you would realise I don't like the alloys that are currently on my E46. So first port of call is swapping out them alloys, and the second thing on our list today, an M3 exhaust on a 330Ci. Let's go. So there they are, the new wheels are on. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Do you like the gold on the black? I was looking for bronze, but gold was what come up. So cheap wheels, temporary wheels, bear that in mind. But I kind of like the colour scheme, so I may stick with it. We'll find that out in the future. But for now, we need to get the rear wheel well cut out so this exhaust can fit, because the M3 exhaust doesn't fit with the wheel well in place. So to fit this M3 exhaust, we need to cut the boot floor out, which actually turns out not to be that hard, so I'll show you that process now. Unlike the M3, the 330Ci has a full-size spare wheel well which is blocking where the new M3 exhaust needs to sit. So I removed everything from the boot, ready to start cutting. I must admit I was a bit nervous about cutting into my car, but it turned out alright for the first time ever doing this sort of thing, as I'd never taken an angle grinder to a car in my life. I think it just goes to show that something that seems like a bit of a daunting task at first is alright when you just give it a go. So it's not the cleanest cut in the world, but that doesn't really matter because it's going to be covered with a plate anyway. But you can see that the boot floor is starting to come away. So now we just need to take off those extra edges and get it off, basically. See if it's attached to anything underneath. And then mock up this plate. It turns out there were a few rivets holding the boot floor to a second skin. However, with the help of my screwdriver and a drill, the boot dropped out fairly easily. I then moved on to fitting the plate in place and decided to drill one hole at first so I could secure it and drill all the other holes without the plate moving, otherwise that could have been a bit of a pain to line up. Here you can see me installing my first riv nut. If you don't know what riv nuts are, they're basically a hollow rivet with a tapped section to enable you to screw in a bolt. After securing the plate, I was able to drill the rest of the holes without the plate moving. I then put the riv nuts in place and used the riv nut tool to squeeze them securely to the car. Before finally installing the plate, I used a bunch of Tiger Seal to seal up where the plate meets the car to prevent any water ingress. Finally, the plate goes in and we use the good old Ooga Googa just to make sure all the bolts go in tight, because I have zero plans on removing this plate ever. I then use the Tiger Seal as a seam sealer on some of the edges just to be safe. The boots are all done and it's the next day. By the time I finished it last night, it was far too late and far too dark, but I needed to get it done because we're heading to Steve's unit now to get the rest of this exhaust installed. So I'll catch you guys at Steve's unit. So to be fair, I'm going to look under here, it's a little bit of surface rust, especially on the subframe, but it's not too bad, especially for 175,000 miles, 22 years old, it's quite a clean car. Because this exhaust is being fabricated to fit the stock pipes, Steve is cutting off the flanges so that we can use exhaust clips to make the temporary section fit the M3 back box. After a bit of lining up and some measuring to make sure the pipes are even, we're ready to make the new temporary pipes. Steve has got this little donut looking thing to gauge where the exhaust needs to sit to prevent me melting my diffuser. Normally Steve would be TIG welding, however to make his life a bit easier he's going to MIG weld, because this is only a small section and it's only temporary until we wait for more exhaust parts down the line. So I didn't realise until Steve cut this off, but there's a valve on the stock exhaust. So it's just vacuum line valve, and hopefully that doesn't bring out engine management light, but that should hopefully be a bit different from a cold start and just an idle point of view with the valve fully open, because there's no valve on this system. We're just about done, and as you can see, the exhaust is on, the diffuser is on. We're just about to let the car down and see how it sounds for a first start. So I don't know if you could tell with the lighting, but it already looks so much better. So we'll see how it sounds. Go on then, Steve. Those pops and burbles. Oh, that is so much better. So that is so much better. I knew it had a pop and burble tune on it, but you couldn't really hear it with the stock exhaust. However, that is so much better. So it wouldn't be an exhaust video if I didn't do a before and after comparison. So here's the before. And here's the after. And an extra special treat, here's a cold start. Now that's not it for the exhaust. I do have some secondary cat delete mid pipes, however they've not been installed because it would have just been a bit too awkward for us to install it due to the different sizes in the pipe and all that stuff. So long story short, I'm going to wait until I've got headers. I've already got the mid pipes. I'm going to get a rear mid pipe section, and that will be a full system, no cats, basically straight through with a resonator and the back box. So stay tuned for that in a future video. But if you've enjoyed what you see here, please like the video, make sure you leave a comment down below, let me know what else you want to see, and make sure you click that subscribe button. It massively helps me out. I can then provide you with better content and more content more consistently, so make sure you please subscribe. Anyway guys, that's it from me. I'll catch you in the next one.